Hi, welcome to Teach Start, and today we're looking at how do you improve a toxic classroom. And what I mean by that is one that just everything's going wrong, that students aren't learning anything, they're misbehaving, that just everything's going wrong. Now, a few things to really consider in this situation. I always find it helpful to have the knowledge that there's a teacher out there that can teach the class, which is true. It's always true. I've never seen a class that no one could teach. There are some classes that are easier than others, there are some classes that are harder than others, but there's always a teacher out there in the world that could teach that class. Use that to give yourself confidence that you can get there, that you can improve the situation with the class. However bad it is now, believe that there are things you can do that will improve it and will get it to a point where it's a really great class. Sometimes time is a factor, that sometimes you just need to spend more time with the class. But the second piece of advice which I'll give is if things go wrong, don't keep things the same. If things are toxic, if things are horrible, if no one's learning anything, there is very limited appeal or very limited use in keeping things the same. So always try and think what you can change, what you can actually change in the class, whether it's the type of lesson, whether it's the difficulty of the lesson, whether it's your vocal presentation, whether it's the resources you use. There are so many things you can change. When things get really toxic and really just awful, one of the techniques that a lot of people use is to ramp down the difficulty for the next lesson, to make something that's still a little bit challenging, but not really difficult and really advanced. You want to make sure that the students are feeling like they're achieving something, and mostly one of the issues mostly is that students aren't feeling like they're learning anything, and that's where the toxic environment comes in. That the students, generally speaking, actually do want to learn something in the classroom. Weirdly, and I know that's counterintuitive sometimes, but they genuinely do. I've met very few students who don't genuinely want to do well in school, which is really good and it's a really positive thing. However, it sometimes feels like they don't, and they're not misbehaving because they don't want to learn anything. They're misbehaving because of a myriad of other reasons that you need to investigate in yourself. But if you make the difficulty such that they are all learning something, that they are all achieving something, that they're actually getting knowledge from your class, even though it's half of what you wanted them to learn that lesson, then that's always a nice first step. You can in fact, you have to ramp up the difficulty later on. That's not a problem. But try and get them a lesson where they feel like they're achieving. The next thing I would do is, for the next lesson, so we've ramped down the difficulty somewhat, make it still challenging, not like really easy baby work, but like semi-difficult, but half the content as you normally do. The next thing to think about is the resources. So think about whether your resources are nice and easy for them or actually quite difficult. One example would be, are you asking them to copy down a lot? Maybe at the moment asking them to copy down loads is really, really good. If you don't get them to copy stuff, that's a really good way of making sure that it's accessible for them. So copy down for 5-10 minutes. Or if you get them to copy down loads already and they're not doing it, or that's causing the issue, then make a worksheet with the stuff already written in that they can stick into their books and only has gaps for the answer. So mix and match. Change what it is you currently do. The next thing I would say is think about how often you're teaching, how often you're up the front teaching, and cut it out for the next lesson. Don't teach at all. Have a selection of different resources throughout the lesson. Don't ever just give them a worksheet to do for the hour, because that is asking for trouble. But teach not from the front of the classroom, but teach in groups. Go round to the first group and discuss the stuff with them, and have enough stuff for them to get on without any interaction from you, but have the stuff later on that they can get on with kind of your instruction. So go and teach the first group, say, right, I'll tell you what, we might want to get on to question 4 now, because that's the harder stuff that I've just talked about. Then go to the next group. So instead of you standing up the front and going, right, I'm not teaching until you start listening, and then just carrying on, just cut out that bit of the lesson. Now, you will eventually need to bring that back, but bring that back where it starts to be a lot more positive environment. Bring that back when you feel that they will give you the opportunity, and don't suddenly put in a half an hour of you talking. Gradually bring it back. Okay, we're going to do the first bit together, and then I'll go around and set you off for the second bit, and bring that in. So don't look at your lesson and think, right, no, that's the only way I know how to do it. Start taking stuff out of it. Take all the things that you have historically not been able to do. Take that all out and leave the basic frame of the lesson and get that bit right. And then gradually put in the bits that you want from the lesson over time. And, in the next couple of weeks or next month or even next couple of months, you've then brought the stuff in gradually and brought the students into it and made it so that it's not suddenly listening to you for half an hour. Suddenly, it's more gradual than that. And if you do feel you need to talk for half an hour, don't just suddenly do it. Just gradually talk more and more and more. One of the important things to understand is we're not paid to go in and be with them for an hour. We're paid to teach them. And it's so much better to make sure, even if you have to go through 3/4 of your course, if they've understood the 3/4, that is so much better than doing the whole course, but they haven't listened to anything. And it's a bit of a waste of time. So I would always say, try and reduce the content, try and focus the lesson more on smaller things, and make sure that's right, and then start expanding the lessons out. Don't ever keep things the same, expecting them to change. I think Einstein was quoted as saying that that's madness, so probably not the best approach. I hope you find this video useful. If you do, please click like and subscribe if you want to see more. Can you please leave comments in the comment section below? Because I'm really keen to do more videos on what people want me to do rather than what I come up with. So please leave a comment below. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to see more from us, please click subscribe. We release videos every single weekday at 5 o'clock in the evening. Thank you.